So, friends, today's discussion is going to be around a very important question that we face when we try to implement a contract. So, notwithstanding the regular conditions of frustration of a contract where somebody is not following the law, we have to look at the economic implications or the practical application of a contract when you try to bring the contract to life. After all, what you find in a contract is certain actions which are specified to be carried in a particular manner. So, when people try to bring the contract to life, there are certain complications. One of the very important theory given by Eric Posner, it says that we arrange ourselves generally into two rules, the principal and the agent. So when we try to implement a contract, there is a conflict between the principal and the agent. And when we look at this particular arrangement, we also have to understand the role of agency. So if I want to capture what is agency, agency is a sense of control that you feel in your life because of your capacity to influence your own thoughts and behavior. If you have faith in the ability to handle a range of tasks and situations, that gives you the competence. In short, we can say a certain quality, for example, sincerity to do a work, forethought, self reactiveness, proactiveness, self reflection. These are important qualities that you find in a person who is productive. Now, imagine yourself being a manager. Manager has to complete certain tasks, and these tasks have to be delegated further to an agent. So when you face an agent, many a times the agent is getting into action, is performing certain tasks. The benefit of that task actually comes back to the principal. That is why it is said that agent acts on behalf of the principal. So when you look at the action on behalf of the principal, sometimes the agent would ask what I will get if I perform this duty, what I will get. Will I get a good salary? Will I get good conditions of life? Can I perform my other tasks in life better? Usually what a worker asks to the manager. So when you look at the performance of duty, the person who is performing the duty, his characteristics, for example, his personality, his interests, the level of information that the person has, all this is going to have an impact on the task which is done. So to sum up, we can say that a contract is nothing but set of actions. Not all actions can be carried out by one person because we don't have equal abilities. Mother Nature has discriminated in a way that not everybody is having same kind of talent. So because of this problem, we have to find someone else who has that talent. We ask that person to perform a duty, but when the duty is performed, it is also important about the characteristics or personality traits of the agent. So first of all, let us start by analyzing what happens in this agency relationship. An agency relationship in its simplest version is a relationship in which one person, the principal, benefits when another person, the agent, performs some task with care or effort. Now this is very important. Suppose I ask you to write an essay. I am the principal and you are the agent. You have to understand the seriousness of the work. You have to look at the quality of work and timeliness of the work. Of course, I cannot lay down all the conditions, but I have to assume that certain things the agent will perform automatically. Now, for example, suppose that you want to sell a house. You have no experience selling houses and you don't have the right contacts. Now here is the problem, that you don't have the same talent. So now you are supposed to hire a real estate agent. Now, you want the agent to use as much care or effort as possible to sell your house. You want the agent to show houses to as many potential buyers as possible. The agent should also appreciate the qualities of the house, and buyers have to be brought to have better pricing. In fact, one of the objectives of the agent is to increase the price of the house by generously praising the qualities of the house. But when we give this task, sometimes there are certain limitations. For example, what if the agent prefers 9 to 5 as working hour, whereas the best time to contact the potential buyers would be in the evening? The agent is tired in the evening, for example, and rather they would say that, okay, I want to manage my personal life, I want to take care of my family. So a task is given to the agent, but the agent has his own questions or observations. No, I cannot come in the morning. No, evening is better for me. So these are the issues, personal requests and characteristics of the agent, which may not allow the contract to happen in a particular manner. I am talking about the execution part of the contract. Now, it is also possible that the agent is lazy. There can be certain personal issues with the agent. So you have given the task with utmost sincerity, but the agent may not understand. Timeliness is an important requirement, quality of task is important. So therefore, we have to ensure that the work is done properly. But when this task is given, there are certain pitfalls which are coming out of the weaknesses of the agent. Therefore, as a principle, you would like to get the task done as quickly as possible, and it is very much possible that the agent may take more time, he may linger with the task is not completed on time. So this becomes a conflict for between the agent and the principal. So what is the solution, guys? You are giving a task, but the task is not going to be done properly because the other person has his or her own preferences. What is the solution? One solution is to monitor the agent, right? One possibility is that because you have assumed that the job is not going to be done properly, now you have to monitor. So what are the options that you have? Either you follow the agent around, you leave all your tasks and you are behind the agent. Maybe you can have cameras, you can have audio devices, maybe you monitor the agent through the electronic devices. Now this creates additional cost, right? But suppose you find out that she has stopped by at your house only once in a week, whereas she was supposed to at least go to the house and show the house every day in a week. Now when you find this information, what will happen to the nature of contract? How we are going to analyze the situations which are presented due to complications between principal and agent. So guys, monitoring is not the right answer because it is going to take huge amount of time, extra cost, inconvenience. In fact, you wanted to come out of the inconvenience. That is why you started this entire process. So how will you ensure that your agent is telling the truth? How will you ensure that things are done as per the quality requirements, which is the requirement of the contract? So one option is to monitor, another is to go the traditional way. So another solution to this problem is let us wait and see. Let us hope that the agent is going to do the good job, and after all the house will be sold within a month. So now this is again the territory where you are not very sure whether the things are done according to quality and requirements or not. We don't know. Suppose you wait for a month and the house is not sold. You ask the agent why, and there can be number of answers. For example, the agent will classically tell you that market is down, we don't have any business, it's very difficult to sell your house. Similarly, she may say that okay, let us wait for more period because the market may just come up. Again, unless you are an expert about the housing market, and we assume that you are not, it will be difficult for you to evaluate the agents. So the agent is going to give you so many claims. There are defects in your house, location is not proper, the market is not congenial for sales, you will not get the right price, let us wait. Now, how will you believe these arguments? The problem, as before, is that you cannot directly observe the agent's efforts, and also you don't have huge amount of time to actually run around the agent. Therefore, my dear friends, the problem between or the conflict between principal and agent is going to take us to three important problems. Problem number one, it is known as moral hazard, right? Moral hazard is ethically and morally wrong statements are given by people, and when you look at this kind of a behavior, sometimes it is very difficult to actually realize whether truth is being spoken by people. So you can understand that the distance between the principal and agent is about the information. You don't know about the characteristics of the agent, you don't know about the competency of the agent. When you appoint the agent, you take an interview, of course, but during the course of interview we can know only about the qualification, maybe some amount of communication skills, experience maybe, but we are not able to know how this person will work on the ground. That means there is a imbalance of information between the principal and agent. Because of that imbalance, what happens is we come to the three terminal problems. So again, to summarize, contracts are made between people who have differential talents. We arrange ourselves into different roles called principal and agent. Principal is the person who gives instructions, agent is the person who is executing the instructions. They both of them come together in an arrangement. But when you appoint an agent, there is lack of information about the competence of the agent, the behavior, ethics, the qualities, personality traits, you don't know. And because of this problem, we look at three fundamental issues. One, the moral hazard. Moral hazard is nothing but switching the morality according to situations. For example, in this situation, when somebody is not performing, they may tell a lie, right? When you ask the agent why you are not able to sell the house, maybe the answer is the market is not working, your house is having defects, location is not proper. If that is the case, you should not have taken the assignment itself, right? If there are so many issues and you cannot perform, you should have told me right in the beginning. So this is the problem of moral hazard. Similarly, when there is lack of information about the qualities of the agent, there is a good possibility that you may have adverse selection. Adverse selection is a problem which happens all the time, especially when you recruit people. Suppose you are recruiting a person. What do you know about him? Clear? About his long-term goals, what he feels, what kind of temperament he has, whether he has anger issues or not, emotionally balanced or not, whether he is going to be sincere or not. What about honesty of the person? Clear? Because of these problems, what happens is the person who is not actually the right fit for the job, maybe he turns up as a good employee. Maybe there is a mimicry of goodness. He is not good, but he may simply show the certificate, maybe from some very good college he is passing. But these are small signals. It is not a very good factor where we can decide about the overall quality of the person. So in that case, my dear friends, what happens? We select the person who is not competent, right? It is a problem of lemons. the inferior quality will mimic itself as if it is of high quality. All the time it happens when people are wanting to get themselves recruited in an organization on the first day of the job. Imagine yourself, आप क्या attitude दिखाएंगे? How you will show yourself? You will always show the right personality, the goodness, the all the positive sides. But human beings are coming in a package, right? So positive, negative, many traits are there that we don't know. So that means adverse selection is a natural consequence when there is lack of information. Whenever there is lack of information, there is going to be adverse selection. So we have to realize that this is a very complicated problem which comes up. And finally, the third problem is you are not able to complete the task as required, right? So now the very edifice of contract, the architecture of contract will be shaken because of the principal agent problem. Principal doesn't know about the agent and there is lack of information whether the contract will be completed on time, in quality, according to requirements. These will be the grand questions. In the next video, we are going to look at the solutions which can arise from having smart contracts. Okay, I hope this is understood. We will follow up this particular discussion in class. If you have any doubts, again we will come back to this content. Remember, this is part of course lecture Agency Models in Law and Economics, written by Eric A. Posner from Chicago Law School. Thank you so much.